Good morning. It's Market Day Report, and welcome to a Wednesday. And it kind of feels like a Tuesday because we had that holiday on Monday, but I bet we get caught up. What do you think? If it's not a Tuesday, though, can you really have a turnaround? So that could mean markets moving higher today. We'll wait and see, though. How about the overnight session? Let's jump into the corn market. Overnight in the red, down 0.75 cents on the March at 4.89 1/4, and the new crop December at 4.59 was off 0.75 cents. Now, yesterday, every row crop managed to settle in higher territory. Soy meal was higher, but soy oil was lower. Speaking of meal, in the overnight session, moving higher, and the soy oil contracts again in the red. What about soybeans in the overnight session? 2 1/4 higher on the March at 10.69 1/2, and the May contract at 10.80 was up 2 1/4 cents. And for the wheat market, March wheat Chicago 3 higher, 5.61 3/4. New crop July 5.85 up 3 1/4. New crop for hard red is July at 5.99 1/4, up 4 3/4 cents. And spring wheat December is the new crop, 6.53 up 3/4 penny. Finally, New York cotton futures, new crop December up 3 at 69.40 with the old crop in the red. Brian Hoops, President, Midwest Market Solutions. Brian, welcome back. And I bet you can tell us about a flash sale in corn.
Good morning, Tony, and good to talk with you again. Yeah, we had a sale this morning, 136,000 metric tons to an unknown destination of corn. So a little bit more support for corn. Yesterday's export inspections showed a market year high for the corn, and we're getting a lot of positive news for that corn market, and that just continues to push higher, massive fund buying. Of course, we had this huge rally yesterday across all the grains. Wheat participated in it, meal, soybeans, corn, all soared sharply higher. And, the world we're living in right now is we are subject to the latest headlines, or in the case of our new president, his latest tweets. And so I thought the reason we soared mostly yesterday, maybe some dryness concerns about Argentina, but more so the fact that there wasn't any talk about the tariffs against China in soybeans. And so it kind of opened the door that maybe we would sell or export some more product to them. And we soared higher yesterday. Now, yesterday afternoon later, President Trump reiterated he has in place, in mind, a 10% tariff against China. And that did open us lower last night, 8 to 9 cent losses on soybeans right on the opening. Meal was down several dollars. But there was some news stories this morning that rallied us back to close higher in soybeans, and that is coming from Reuters that China has rejected about 5 cargoes of Brazil's soybeans, and that's due to maybe some contamination of either chemicals or pests. And no doubt Brazil will get this straighten around right away, but it does open the door here for some U.S. export business and maybe some higher prices. We saw that soybean market come off its lows to close higher. Maybe we see a little follow through, a little additional buying this morning, but you really wonder how far can we rally U.S. soybeans as that harvest in South America starts to gain speed, and it's going to be a record harvest of Brazil's soybeans.
Brian, great way to start the morning. How about we take a break? We'll come back in a moment. We'll dig into the livestock futures as well. Market Day Report continues in a moment. So cash cattle last week at 201 in the South. And where are we this week? 201 in the South already. Packers able to pick up some. We haven't heard of anything yet in the North. Weather may be, well, taking its toll on that. We'll wait and see. What about the live cattle market in trade yesterday? Again, we don't trade these overnight. February settled 30 cents higher at 197.05, but 17 lower on the April at 197.32. To the feeder market, and we saw quite a bit of pressure in the feeders yesterday after the open. January managing a 90-cent gain to 274.40, but the March at 267 1/4, down 80. What about hogs? Hogs have been in the red now for not just the past week, but the past month. losing 3.7% of its value month over month. February settled at 81.20 a hundredweight. That was up 7, but $1.62 lower on the April, 86.70. Let's bring back in Brian Hoops, Midwest Market Solutions, proteins. What are you watching?
Yeah, you mentioned a little cash cattle trade of the 201 area in the Southern Plains. It's really early in the week to be seeing that Southern Plains trade. You have to wonder if those cattle are going to be shipped northward this week to be killed. And we saw that happen last week, and just kind of speculation that maybe it's happening again early part of this week. But we haven't seen any dress trade. Still looking for additional trade. It's been pretty limited volume at that 201 area, but calls are fully steady to maybe $1 higher by the end of this week. So looking for more cash trade to develop there. Futures been pretty quiet and mixed, real choppy type trades so far, with February and January feeder cattle the upside leaders, and that's because of the discount to the cash markets that those futures are holding. So that keeps them well supported. Coming up on Friday, we have not only cold storage but also cattle on feed, and the estimates look to be somewhat friendly. On feed supplies a little bit smaller than a year ago. Placements and marketing is just slightly higher than a year ago levels. So I think it was a month ago we saw some bearish numbers. Maybe we'll get a little bit more of a bullish surprise in Friday's reports.
Okay, outside markets, anything have your attention this morning?
Well, you can see the stock market sharply higher. Netflix announced their earnings yesterday, and I think they had record growth, record subscriptions. So that market, that market alone is pulling a lot of the indexes, stock market higher in early dealings. Crude oil's really pulled back off of its highs. It's more stable this morning. And one market really you want to focus on is U.S. dollar. When President Trump took office in 2016, the dollar fell. We saw a big drop when he took office on Monday and Tuesday's trade, and it's just kind of holding steady right above support in early dealings this morning.
Yeah, that's spot on there. Again, watching that dollar and how it interacts with I don't know how it interacts with the Brazilian real, but definitely what's happening with the Chinese currency as well as the Canadian dollar and the peso in Mexico. Brian, always great to see you. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Brian Hoops is with Midwest